You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to discuss Lonzo Ball's interview with Darnell Mayberry at The Athletic, where he has once again stated that he will be returning to basketball. We're also going to talk about Bulls players performing over in the FIBA tournament. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the White Sox potentially moving to the United Center. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 100.
1,000. You done messed it all up.
I done messed it all up, bro. Like, listen, it's been a weekend for me. I know it's ESPN 1000. I don't know why I said 100, but I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. I guess I don't even know the host of the shows I do. With that being said, it's a Monday. It's a Monday around Locked On, fellas. Like, it is what it is. But
Football Fest was on Sunday, so.
Yeah, Football Fest was on Sunday. I wasn't able to pull up to that. I wanted to, but I wasn't going to do another 4.5-hour drive after doing a 5-hour drive the weekend prior, bro. I really wanted to, man, but I couldn't, bro. Like,
hey, man, it's all good. We had a good time up there, man.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like a good time, man. But Lonzo Ball, man, he is doubling down on all of this about him returning, saying in the interview with Darnell Mayberry, I'm going to play again. For me, I know what I've got to do to get back, and I'm just on the path of doing what I've got to do every day, taking it step by step. I don't look too far ahead. I know in my near future, I will be back on the court for sure. You hear that? Say we talked about how hype we got just as people who just want to see. Like, at this point, it's bigger than just the Chicago Bulls. Like, you're a 25-year-old player who's gotten what you've basically your whole life, like, prepared for your whole life since you were a kid to make it to the NBA, and that's taken away from you. I would love to see him be able to make a return. Now, he has a far journey ahead of him. We've talked about, how brutal that surgery is, the recovery time, all that. He's still a long way off. But now that Lonzo is starting to get more out in front of it, all last season, he pretty much stayed out the camera, stayed out the spotlight. Yeah. The one thing that we did get with him on video of him talking about how difficult it was for him to go up steps, he seemed really down and depressed. He seems like he got a little bit more umph back under him. Like, how do you feel about Lonzo Ball, like, being more in the public eye nowadays, and him keep reiterating the fact that he is going to make a comeback?
I mean, listen, it's cool, right? Like, I think it's one of those things where we've wondered for so long. Now we're getting to see kind of what the person is, how he feels. I will say this is probably the most excited we've seen Lonzo, which probably means that he does believe that there's some way for him to find his way back onto a basketball court. I hope he does. I hope he's able to do it. I hope that he's able to have a resurgence in his career. I just don't know if that's going to be here with the Chicago Bulls. Now, what I will say is this, right? Like, I don't want this to be a Derrick Rose situation, not to the extent that Derrick Rose has been, but the situation where we've needed a point guard for so long, and we've seen how, yes, he's not Derrick Rose anymore. The expectations have to be lowered, but Derrick Rose still was a pretty good point guard in every stop that he went to. In Minnesota, New York, he's been pretty good, right? Cleveland was bad. Cleveland was pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. But outside of that, right, like, we've seen a guy who can go out there and be just a facilitator, and when he needs to turn back on being the old D Rose, he can. I think that if Lonzo Ball can come back, he can get back on the court and sustain time on the court. Listen, his IQ is not going to get any worse. His brain is still great. He's still going to be able to have all of the vision. The question mark is going to be, is he going to be able to make a cut or drive, get to the bucket? Is his shot going to be the same? But he's still going to be smart as heck. And guess what? If Lonzo Ball comes in and he's a guy that you bring off your bench to just go out there and facilitate and set other guys up to be successful, I think that you'll see him be able to get 10 to 12 minutes. My question is he going to be healthy enough to do that? Is he going to be able to work his way back? I love the fact that he's showing the confidence, but I mean, like you said, it's a long way to go, and I still got a ton of questions.
Yeah, and the thing that I don't want to see, and the reason why I'm keeping my expectations tempered for now, is that I don't want to hear the thing of, or get excited like, oh, he's making his comeback, he's preparing for training camp. We get a month before training camp, and Lonzo Ball is not ready to make his return, right? Yeah. So, like, I think I want everybody to, while we're all getting excited, hell, me and Pat are excited, and we want to see Lonzo Ball back. Let's be clear here. This surgery doesn't have a high rate of return. Matter of fact, he'd be the first NBA player to come back from this type of surgery. So, and now he did have a newer version of the surgery than what was done before. So that, on top of his youth, the advancements in medicine, hopefully point towards him being able to make that comeback. But it's a long road ahead. And so, hopefully this time next year, we're not talking about maybe we are talking about Lonzo Ball being at training camp and ready to go. And that point, we're just like, all right, how much are we going to be able to get from Lonzo? Because when he comes back, whenever it is, he's going to be injury managed. It is what it is. They're not going to throw him out there to a full 82-game schedule. I would even say his first year back, don't expect probably more than 50 games played at that on the high end. But again,
they're gonna temper him, right? Would he still be right if he comes back next year? He's still under contract with us, right?
He has one more contract.
He's got one more year.
It's a player option, but he's probably going to pick up.
He's going to pick it up, right? Listen, you going to give me $20 million to see if I can still play again? Perfect. I don't know, man. It's a situation for me with Lonzo where, while I would love to see him come back, I feel like he's setting us up for a comeback story type of situation. I've been down this road before, right? Derrick Rose, the return.
Yeah.
Then what you gonna
still remember that commercial? That commercial had me hype.
Oh my God. I would have carried Derrick to the court. I'd have put him on my shoulders and just been like, "Yep, I got you, bro. I don't want you doing any unnecessary walking until you got to, bro." I was so ready for that. And then we end up seeing him go down again, another injury, another ACL. I want to see Lonzo come back, but I also don't want to see him come back to the detriment of his long-term health, because I would imagine, as hard as it is to come back from the injury that he has now one time, if we're dealing with another time, that's an entirely different thing. Now, granted, he'd have completely different cartilage in his knee, so it wouldn't be the same injury. But
maybe that dead person's cartilage is a little bit more resilient. But I mean,
these were the knees of a sprinter.
I wonder if he got to pick. Did he get to pick out? Did he get designer knee cartilage? It's hey man, how many miles did this guy run today? Bet. Let me get that. Get that.
If you get to pick out your own knee cartilage, bro, what are you going? You going Jamaican or African?
Jamaican for sure.
Jamaican knee cartilage, sure. Good cartilage, man. It's good cartilage. Great runners. You know what I mean? I just figure probably more depth to it. Probably a little bit denser because of how much running they do. You know what I mean? No. Hey,
how do we get here? How do we get ourselves into these scenarios?
This is a moment we don't often do this. I love being black. You can't be anybody else and get away with it.
Oh man, that's hilarious. But oh man, that is funny.
Did you guys hear those two guys picking out cartilage on the body? Fired. Can't fire them, they're black. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's perfect. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh man, but no, I hope the best for Lonzo. Like I said, it's bigger than the Chicago Bulls at this point. If he's able to make a comeback, I do hope that the Bulls, if he is able to come back next year, even if it is extremely limited, the Bulls will be able to get a look at that before they need to determine, hey, are we going to work out another contract with Lonzo, right? Even if it is something at the minimum, because he's not going to get a lot of money until he proves that he's healthy. So
I don't think he'll get a lot of money anyway. I think the rest of his career is probably
minimum contracts,
$2 to $3 million deals, bro. Because I can't invest in the risk.
Yeah.
You got to be 5-6 years strong before I'm willing to invest in it. It got to be you ain't had it so much as a turned ankle.
I mean, that's fair, bro. I mean, I know some people are going to hear that and say that it's harsh, but it's fair. These are investments. And so, ultimately, the Bulls have now, out of they paid Lonzo Ball by the end of this season $60 million for 35 games. That's crazy, bro.
100%, man. And listen, like we said, we hope he comes back. We hope he comes back stronger. Hope he's able to fight his way back on the court and go out there and dominate. Listen, I hope he's able to surprise me like you did last year when they basically was he's gonna miss the whole year. Give me that Lonzo Ball returns in February. Give me that. If we surprise and let's go all the way with it. You know what I mean? Come on now.
At this point, let me ask you this. Let's say we get to around this time next season, a little bit before free agency. if there's a question about Lonzo Ball being able to play, do you file for the career-ending injury exception, or do you what do you do with that? If you're the GM, what would you do?
I mean, at this point, you might as well ride it out. Like, I guess if you feel like he might play, you might as well ride it out. Like, you've gone 3 years into this. 4 years ain't gonna hurt you. You ride the contract out to the end of the year. I mean, it depends on how the previous season ends, right? Like, listen, if we end the previous season with, we look worse than last year, then yeah, I file for the career-ending injury designation, and we're blowing everything up, or we're at least moving on from some very big pieces that we thought were going to be around here for a while. But I mean, if you look better than you did last year, at this point, you see what you can get out of them.
There you go. I mean, hey, that's all fair, man.
Making knees, man.
But let us know what you guys think of all that down below, man. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls player playing over in the FIBA tournament. Before we get into that, got to talk to you guys about FanDuel. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now's the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, Pat. We don't have a lot of Bulls players playing over in the FIBA tournament. We got two. We got Carlik Jones and Nikola Vucevic. Vuce, who's played 2 great games, and Carlik Jones, who's had an amazing stat line. You want to kind of get the Carlik part of it out the way so we can talk a little bit more in depth about
Speaking of African knees. No, I mean, listen, congrats to Carlik. I love that he's over there balling out. 21 points. I mean, like he looked like what we saw in the G League, right? Like he looked like the G League MVP over there. And it's cool to see him get that shine. First win for the Sudanese team. I don't know how long they've been a team, right? Because a lot of the African teams over there are still pretty new. So I'm not going to pretend like I know, but their first win, and that's really dope. You know what I mean? In a FIBA tournament, and Carlik Jones at the heart of it.
Yeah, Carlik Jones, I mean, with an amazing stat, what was it, like 37 points, 14 assists, something like that? I know he balled out. I don't remember the stat line off the top of my head. But shout out to Carlik for going over there, leading his team. Him and
they dominated today, bro. They blew these mugs out by
I knew they were playing earlier. Yeah, what they played at. How do you do today?
Let's see. Carlik Jones, 21-6-2 today. Still playing well. Still playing well. Dominated China.
Shout out to that. Like Carlik Jones over there balling out, man.
He is. I gotta give him credit. Like, it's actually pretty impressive. May Jacques, dang, is he related to Luol? Yo, he might be.
He might be.
I just looked this man up. No, he might be. Dang, he tall. But no, yeah, pretty cool to see. I think the fact that Carlik is over there taking advantage of his opportunity. Here's the one part.
Oh, right, no, he's definitely got to be related to Lil Al.
He got to, bro. Here's the one part that we don't think about with stuff like this, right? How is this gonna bring Carlik back to the Bulls? Right? Like, we always talk about Team USA building up and turning these players into different things, but playing in FIBA alone, like, these guys have a different pride when they play for their country. They go a lot harder when they play for their country. Is he going to be able to maintain that mindset coming back here to Chicago?
I mean, hopefully. I mean, the thing is that this is basically like, I don't want to like make it less than, but like he's jump starting his training camp, right? He's come in with the right conditioning, all that type of stuff, and playing over him and Vooch. So, maybe it does. I still have my doubts on Carlik Jones' ability to make the final roster for the Chicago Bulls. But listen, if anything else, we're very guard heavy. But I mean, listen, it can't do nothing but help. It can't hurt. Right?
It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt. That's what I want to see.
So, but let's talk about Nikola Vucevic, man. Over 2 games, Vuce is averaging 21.5 points per game. And he is a 72% field goal percentage, 75% three-point shooting percentage. Nikola Vucevic is over there absolutely cooking right now in FIBA. How do you feel about the play of Nikola Vucevic, bro?
It's crazy what happens when you give him the ball. Yeah, I mean, like, oh my God, Vooch can still play basketball. Did y'all know that? Like, he can go out there and dominate pretty much every center in the league.
Offensively, absolutely.
Like, yeah, defensively, I didn't say nothing about defense, but offensively,
I get what you're saying. I mean, he has 5 blocks over 2 games over there. He's scored 27 points in the first game, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 blocks. In the second game, not as much scoring, but they didn't really need it. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Vooch is over there cooking,
bro. And it's not surprising. I'm not shocked by it. I'm not like, oh my God, how did he figure this out? Like, he looks like Vooch.
Yeah.
Vooch from Orlando is still in there. You just have to allow him to be that guy. You have to allow him to be able to go down in the post and dominate on a consistent basis. You have to allow him to be able to go down there and utilize his skill set. I'm not shocked by seeing Vooch go out and dominate FIBA. We already know what Vooch can do. He's got that little boom, that turn, and that float, right? That the little float. He need to teach Patrick Williams that float.
Bro, like, and the thing is with Vooch too, like, Vooch, he basically does the same thing every time, but nobody's been able to stop it in 11 years, bro. Like,
and it's why and I want the Bulls to really take something from this, like seeing what Vooch is doing. Another guy that's probably going to come back right on a high from FIBA, depending on how far they end up going and different things like that. But the Bulls last year and over the last couple of seasons, right, we've talked about them struggling too much with taking bad shots or struggling too much with taking tough shots.
Yeah.
Stacey said it. It's a simple game. When you're struggling offensively, give the ball to the dude that can't do nothing but go down there and just go, boop, it went in. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's the one thing, if they take anything from watching him in FIBA, is like, listen, he's still in there. It's still the same Vooch. 18 and 11 is not his ceiling out here. You can have games. Like, it's okay, right? Every now and then, Chris Bosh put up 30.
Yeah,
it's okay to utilize your third weapon as more than just the third guy on the team. So
especially like when you look at how Billy Donovan runs the offense, when the Bulls, like when the offense slows down and we haven't been able to score for a while, you already know it's about to be DeMar time. I would like to see some of that start going to Vooch, because much like DeMar has the ability to get to his spot and he's either going to get a foul call or get a bucket, Vooch has a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
You just have to go to it and utilize it a little bit more often. So hopefully they do. But while we're talking about FIBA, we got to talk about Noah Lyles, bro. Like, I'm sure he woke up today and realized, I made a grave mistake. I made a mistake.
Oh my God, bro. I put the video on Twitter, right? Where buddy was like, hey, yo, I'm getting cooked. Like, that was just dumb. Like, the NBA is probably the only sport you can't say that about. Right? Like in football, I get you, right? Football's you're the world champions, and realistically, you only playing teams in America. I mean, technically, you are still the world champions, though, because nobody else in the world plays football. So
they tried NFL Europe. It failed miserably.
Well, they also couldn't get people to come out for it either.
Yeah.
That was
because
the main
nobody
problem.
cares about American football over there.
Nobody cares. They were like, oh, it's American football. But no, I just basketball is literally the only sport that you can't say that about, because literally the best players in the world still get dominated by role players in America. Like, we watch this often. Like, didn't Austin Rivers cook one year in FIBA? Like,
I mean, like, even the years that we were like fielding like not the stars, we still dominated for a while, and then until the team started catching up, and then they're like, "Oh, we got to Kobe."
And then they start catching up, and you're like, "Oh, like we're not even." Here's the thing: we're not even sending our best stars over there, and the U.S. is winning by like 40.
And Brandon Ingram, like, bro, his quote, he's still trying to figure out he should be a player that dominates the international game, but you know, he'll get it figured out eventually. He'll get it figured out.
I mean, it's just one of those things to me where it's like, that's the whole Trey Lyles thing. Is his name Trey Lyles? It's not Trey Lyles, is it?
Noah Lyles.
Trey Lyles plays. He's an American player, ain't he? And the whole Noah Lyles thing to me is just like, bro, like, you pick the only sport where everyone in the world goes, I want to play there, until they're not talented enough to play there, and then they come back and play for y'all, the rest of the world. I'm saying y'all, like he's not American. Ain't he an American runner?
He's
I love America, but come on. And it was just weird. Like it was a weird transition.
Weird thing.
Nobody asked you about this.
It was definitely weird, bro. And don't get me wrong, like I want to make sure, and this is why like ESPN this year is televising EuroLeague basketball. They have a whole staff and everything. They are investing in it. It's gonna be dope. And there are great players over in Europe. I do not want to at all, as somebody who grew up overseas, there are some amazing basketball players in Europe. But let's be clear. The NBA championship is the world championship because we are everybody comes over here to play, right? The best players from the world come here to play. So, you know, it is. It's like that was a tone deaf comment. I get what he was getting at. Like I think I get what the spirit of the comment was, but it was still tone deaf. Man.
Now, I guess the argument still to me would be, right, like if you're gonna have this argument about US versus world, when you look at the world, best players in the NBA right now are from world, right? Joel Embiid's not playing for America. Giannis isn't playing for America. Jokic isn't playing for America, right?
Yeah.
So your question would be, if this was a world championship, world tournament, could the best in the world, when they're playing for their own countries, still beat NBA talent, different things like that?
I think there are some European teams that on a night can beat
on a night
NBA talent.
You know what I mean?
But I'm saying, like, if you're talking about like overall, like if we're talking about a best of 7 series, the chances are the best American team is going to win that 4-2 at the best.
I'm trying to think of like a team that had like, even, I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like the Bulls could cook most European teams.
I don't know, bro.
We wouldn't have Vooch, but
the Turkish team may get a Bulls.
The Turkish team would be tough.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have Vooch, right?
Work,
but we got Andre Drummond. We got one of the best rebounders in NBA history. Not the best.
True,
you remember that? Y'all remember that?
And keep in mind, DeMar DeRozan can hit the international 3 because it's a mid-range shot. So.
What else we got to talk about? I'm not messing with you. I'm not fooling with you today.
We want to remind you guys, Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. Get into the you know, it's funny when my co-host conks out on me, man. That's funny. Bro, the Sox may be moving. We got a tweet that the Sox could be moving. A couple of different locations were named in there. Arlington Heights was named on there, but one specific one that was named on there was the United Center. Now, Daniel Greenberg, you know I love Daniel Greenberg. He aggregated the tweet as he always did. But in the original report, it's the United Center area. And the reason why this is important and we're talking about this is Jerry Reinsdorf has been buying a lot of property around the United Center in downtown Chicago. So with the Sox potentially moving to the UC, there's some talks that Reinsdorf could be trying to build kind of a center, an entertainment center downtown that would be centralized around the United Center and potentially this new baseball stadium for the White Sox to play in. Pat, how big do you think that would be for the city and for both teams to kind of have that center? And it's interesting, too, that Arlington Heights is listed on there because I guess he's looking at it and saying, hey, if the Bears are already building an entertainment center, maybe we can lease some land from them and still have that there. So
Soldier Field doesn't make sense to me. When I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
I don't, why would you want to go to worse parking? I get it, right? I mean, baseball on the lakefront would be pretty cool. I'm
about to say baseball on the lakefront.
Baseball on the lakefront would be pretty cool.
A home run into the lake.
Hey, and maybe they'll position the stadium the right way this time. Like, if you ever think about it,
bro, I've literally been saying this for years, bro.
If you flip the stadium 90 degrees, you got the city at your back. It's amazing view. Would look great. I love to see it. You'd have this amazing shot of, like, you know, home plate with the city behind you. It's crazy that they did that, but anyway, it is what it is. But I think that I don't know, man. Realistically, like the Sox moving to the United Center or moving around the United Center, I think it'd be great for the city. I think it would bring more jobs. Of course, it'd be a great time. A lot of if I'm not mistaken, that's how
Atlanta
Bengals Stadium is.
Well, Atlanta does it like that. with the
Atlanta. Isn't there one in
Atlanta
Ohio
definitely
like
does it
that
like
too?
that.
Is it, or the Browns Stadium? Don't the Browns play right next to the
Commanders? No, not the
something like that?
Commanders. The Guardians.
The
I don't
Guardians?
know.
Yeah,
I don't go to the city
they
of
all
Cleveland,
gross.
so yeah, I don't know.
They're all gross. I definitely was about to say the Indians. That is wild. I forgot about that. You got to take that back. But no. Like I guess like some cities do that, and that's cool. Like I wouldn't be mad at it. I think Jerry owns it, so right, you just basically turn it into Jerry world. We're never gonna get on the network, so you know.
And look, and you know what? This goes inside with like while people are hoping that Jerry Reinsdorf, like I remember when the Sox potentially selling them came up, and people were like, "Oh, Jerry, then can he sell it?" Jerry is not leaving Chicago. We're going to be dealing with Jerry Reinsdorf for forever, bro. Like I'm telling you, our kids are going to come up. They're going to take over Locked On Bulls. It's going to be hosted by my son and your son. They're going to take over because we're going to do the LeBron. We're going to hold off from passing off this podcast until our sons.
Apparently, I'm having another kid.
Oh yeah, I put that on you years ago. You already know. But and the funny thing is that you know they'll have the same age difference basically that me and you have. So
there's that.
But when it's all said and done, like Jerry isn't leaving like the city of Chicago. Like he's gonna be like Emperor Palpatine in the Rise of Skywalker. They're gonna think he's dead and gone, and he's just gonna rise back up as the Sox. But that's funny. But I will say this, as far as the moving to Soldier Field, while Soldier Field is one of the smaller NFL stadiums, Soldier Field would automatically become, I think, top 15 in baseball stadiums because of the capacity. So maybe there is that potential because Jerry is cheap. But then again, do you want to deal with the city of Chicago owning technically that stadium? I don't see Jerry wanting to.
I don't see Jerry. That was the other reason why I didn't see it. Like why would he want to do that? Yeah. Like he gets all the money for every concert that happens at Soldier Field. He gets all the or at the sale.
UC.
He gets all the concessions. He gets all of the right, like all of the money. Like why would he all of a sudden just be like, I want less?
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. So I think Soldier Field's out automatically. Arlington would be interesting. You just go all the way in. Ooh. I'm not mad at nothing in Arlington.
I'm actually wrong. Soldier Field would technically, if they converted that to a baseball stadium and kept the seating capacity, it would be the largest stadium in the MLB.
And you probably could add state seats in because
you can't want to leave the back part open.
Less space.
Yeah,
so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't shock me.
The city of Chicago would have to make it.
A baseball field is bigger than a football field, right?
No, a baseball field is technically smaller than a.
No, because
you got to think about it. For like Miami. No, but like Miami, their baseball part is like less than half of their football.
Oh, that's true. They do both play in the same don't they?
Yeah. So
I don't know, man. That'd be weird to me. It'd be weird. Like I mean,
they have to do some conversions. It's not like they're just gonna walk in there and say, "Hey, we're good." They're gonna have to change.
No, they might. Like let's be real. Like 100%, they might. Like it. They legit might be like, just put some walls right there. Home run. Yeah, I mean, like they might. Like, why wouldn't you? I can literally just put dirt down as a baseball field all of a sudden.
I mean, if Lightfoot was still the mayor, she'd absolutely just be like, "Hey, just throw some dirt right there. We're
throw
good.
some dirt on it. Throw some dirt on it." I don't know, bro. Soldier Field would be. I don't see Jerry being like he would basically just be like, "Give me the stadium." That's the only way I see him working. True too. He would buy the stadium from. He'd be like, "Give me the stadium." Yeah. And then he would bring the Bears back. He'd be like, "Virginia, come on, you know how we do, baby." But
the McCaskies and the Reinsdorf, while they're part of like the Chicago Sports Alliance, like they don't work together as much, right? Like, is that just my?
I don't think they have beef.
I mean, I'm not saying that they have beef. I'm just saying that like
what would they work together on?
Yeah, true.
You know, y'all need some bats for hitting the receiver in the knee as he comes across because we can't stop nobody. Like, I don't know what would they work together on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You need
oh man,
that's need a ball machine and just like boom, just take out whatever the quarterback's in here halfway through the game. I don't know, man.
They're gonna go full the fan. Is that what they're gonna do, bro?
They're going straight up Looney Tunes and Space Jam, bro. The first one. Yeah, I mean, it's gut check time.
Funny. That is
it's time for us to get out of here, bro. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. Follow me on everything at Pat The Designer. Appreciate y'all for showing love, man. Watch out for bats.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. Want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every single day. Me and Pat will be back tomorrow with more of our shenanigans and Bulls news. Whichever one comes first, that remains to be seen, man. We love you guys, man. Peace.
Peace. I think Jerry ever tried to talk to Virginia.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Is Jerry Rice married?
That's a good question.
I mean, he's got Michael, but
to the money.